All right, we're live. And right after the John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan press conference, um, it's a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. If you care to watch over on YouTube, go ahead. The SF Niners on YouTube. But let's get into this right away. So some of the first news that came, or the news that came from the press conference. Mcglinchey, the 49ers are picking up Mcglinchey's fifth-year option. Let's go. Come on down, Big Mike. We are very excited about that news. Mcglinchey is the best run-blocking right tackle in the NFL. He is the best run-blocking right tackle in the NFL. So that is great news for a team that runs the ball a lot when they're doing what they want to do. So we're very excited about that. Really excited to get Big Mike back. Really excited to see his continual progression and growth as an offensive lineman. So we're really, really happy about that. So we're just going to kick that off right away. Big congrats to Big Mike. That allows us the ability to keep him under team control and then potentially work towards a future deal if we see fit. Other than that, we just had some fun quotes come out of that press conference. I don't know if there's anything that we could really take away to come away and say concretely that we believe Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are taking X player. I don't think we can take away anything about that based on what was said in that press conference. They said a lot, and Kyle said a lot. We got Kyle to open up a little bit. It seems like you asked Kyle the right question, and he tells you like how he really feels about it. So that was fun. I love hyped Kyle. I loved hyped Kyle. You get Kyle, a little fiery, a little zesty. Love it. I love it. And so again, they said a lot of things in which they're going to. They're just saying a lot of words as much as possible that we don't connect the dots. We don't say like, oh, well, you said this, well, you said that. Okay, well, one of the things that Kyle seemingly said over and over and over and over again was the reason, they were moving up to number 3, the 49ers, that is, to find a starting quarterback. He said the term starting quarterback in relation to the rookie quarterback that they're selecting at 3 a lot. He said that a lot. So they also had asked him, what's the guarantee that, Jimmy Garoppolo will be on the roster come Sunday or something along those lines. And he said, I can't guarantee that anyone will be alive on Sunday. Let's go. Let's go, Kyle. Let's go, Kyle. God, I love it, dude. He's just like, I can't guarantee that anyone's going to be alive on Sunday. So how can I guarantee they're going to be on the roster on Sunday? Oh, my gosh. That's such a good quote. I loved it so much. But again, it kind of comes back to the original comment of what we were talking about was Kyle Shanahan referenced the rookie quarterback that they are selecting at 3 as being the starting quarterback. He said that over and over again. And like I mentioned, it was in a part of the conversation where he's a little testy. He's a little feisty, And so I feel like when he gets going like that, I don't think Kyle is very I think he is who he is. And he tries to come out and he plays the media role and tries to give the politically correct answers and all those kinds of things. But you strike a chord with him, you strike a chord. And so with that whole situation, when he was going on about the rookie quarterback, he kept saying starting quarterback at 3, starting quarterback at 3, starting quarterback at 3. So as I've kind of been saying the entirety of the offseason, since we moved up to 3, it just feels like the 49ers have moved on from Jimmy Garoppolo. And as a result, that would lend itself to being a likely trade that would occur. So we'll find out if anything actually happens during the draft. We don't know. There's very well that could happen. That could absolutely happen where we see Jimmy Garoppolo get moved. But I think it's crystal clear that the 49ers' path forward is without Jimmy Garoppolo. And I personally like Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo. I know a lot of you guys are fans of Jimmy Garoppolo. I know a lot of you guys would rather move to the next stage without Jimmy Garoppolo. Regardless of where you sit and how you feel about that situation, it still is, again, you got to watch what these guys are doing and their actions, and everything points towards Jimmy Garoppolo likely moving on from this team, which could also lend itself to being a trade. And we always talk about the draft, and this time of the week that we're in, we talk about the weeks leading up to this. All the buzz picks up the closer you get to the draft. It happens like clockwork every single year. So as I've said from the very beginning of the offseason, it feels like the 49ers are moving away from Jimmy. And if that's the case, you want to trade said asset to be able to recoup said asset or supposed assets. So that's what it feels like. It feels like we're getting much closer to the draft. And the way everything is going, it just feels like that a Jimmy Garoppolo trade could be brewing. And I'm not going to come out here and say anything definitively because I don't know. Because I always say, right, it's not done until it's done. Jimmy's on the team until he's not on the team. So we'll find out what happens in that regard. But again, what I found to be very interesting was how he kept talking about the rookie quarterback who will be selected at 3 as the starting quarterback. Found that to be interesting. And again, that related to, kind of tied into his comment about not, committing to Jimmy again and sidestepping that comment, all that kind of stuff. The other thing that I thought was funny was when someone asked him about social media. I think it might have been Cam Inman who asked him about social media. I don't think Kyle Shanahan likes social media. I don't think he does at all. I think he despises social media with every inch of his body because, again, Kyle Shanahan is high intellectual when it comes to football. And let's be honest, not a ton of people who cruise the streets of social media have high intellectual football knowledge. So he's going to go ahead and discredit a lot of people and a lot of their opinions because, again, it's Kyle. Who's smarter than Kyle? I don't know if there is too many people smarter than Kyle at this point when it comes to X's and O's and drawing it up. But I don't think he likes social media very much. I know we've had a past experience here at this page where we've had certain messages hit certain levels in the organization, and we know how far that our reach goes. And so I guarantee you they see half the crap that we're saying. They feel the anxiety. They feel what we feel. So it's just going to be really, really interesting to see how everything plays out as this keeps going on. But what is clear is I don't think Kyle likes social media, and leave Kyle alone when he goes to his kids' soccer games, all right? Just leave him alone. Refs, coaches, parents, let the kid enjoy his weekends. Let him watch his kids play soccer. Don't ask him who he's going to draft. He's not telling Schefter. He's not telling Ian Rappaport. He's not telling Tom Pelissero. He's not telling Mike Silver. So why would he tell you, parent? Just leave him alone. If you see Kyle Shanahan, don't talk to him. Just don't talk to him at all. You know where he might be watching his daughters play soccer, but he is thinking about the draft. So don't talk to Kyle until Thursday. If you see Kyle, just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Don't ask him who he's taking. Give the man some space. All right. You might be able to say anyone but Mac. I might be okay with that, but don't talk to Kyle if you see him. One of the quotes that I did find to be very interesting was, again, he was there kind of in one of his feisty moments. He was a little feistier. And he was going on and on and on about quarterbacks and their intangibles and makeups and what you want and blah, blah, blah. You know, he's just kind of going and talking through circles until he made the comment. He said, you want to find Drew Brees who can move like Lamar Jackson. Well, how many quarterbacks are in this class that can throw like Drew Brees and move like Lamar Jackson? Sounds like Mayo Mac, right? Oh, I don't think so. It doesn't. It doesn't sound like him. Because we understand that Mac Jones, although a talented quarterback, very good within the pocket, very mobile within the pocket, good accuracy, good anticipation, good pre-post snap processing, anything you want to talk about. We can talk about that all day with Mac Jones. Mac Jones is not a bad quarterback. But when Kyle Shanahan says you want to find Drew Brees who can move like Lamar Jackson, how many quarterbacks are like that in this class? Trevor Lawrence. Okay, well, Trevor Lawrence is going number 1 to the Jags. Let's see. Who else is there? Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's got a bigger arm than Drew Brees, but he can move and run very well. Very well. I don't think people talk enough about Zach Wilson's ability to run enough. He runs very well. Trey Lance. Now, Trey Lance, right? This guy has all the tools in the world. He's got the cannon of the arm. He runs like Derrick Henry from the quarterback position. George just tweeted. Hold on. George just tweeted something. George, what did George tweet? That looked funny. Whatever he tweeted. I'll pull it up. Let me see if I pull it up on the screen for you guys. But the point of what I'm trying to say is Trey Lance can run. Trey Lance can throw. Trey Lance can operate play action pass. Mac Jones took 10 snaps under center. Let me say that again. Mac Jones took 10 snaps. 10 snaps under center. Trey Lance took the most by far. And then I believe second was Fields. But, I mean, come on, guys. Okay, so this is what George said. He distracted me. I got distracted by George's comment. So George tweeted in response to the comment that Kyle Shanahan made about I can't guarantee anyone's going to be alive on Sunday. I can't guarantee anyone's going to be alive on Sunday. So in response, I'll pull it up here on the screen. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. But he says, I'll call you on Sunday. Hold on. I love George, man. We need George. We need George in times like these. We need George when we're all over the place. So George said, I'll call you on Sunday to let you know I'm alive, coach. Let's go. It's so good. Oh, man. I'm so happy Kyle joined that press conference, man. I'm so glad he joined that thing. Oh, that's so good. I got to share my screen first. That's the problem. Doing too many things here. When you're streaming from 50 million different platforms, it's really easy to get all mixed up here. But I think it's hilarious at some of the things that are being taken away from this press conference. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Came from Insta. Let's go. Hey, if you guys come from Instagram and you head to YouTube, let me know. And I will give you a shout on YouTube. Yeah, we're having some internet difficulties for some reason. So bear with us here a little bit. Let's go. I see you guys hopping in from Instagram, heading over to YouTube, trying to get the ultimate laggy stuff to not lag anymore. But man, so again, we're talking about the comment that George Kittle just made in relation to Kyle Shanahan's comment. I'm trying to pull it up on the screen, but YouTube's giving me all kinds of trouble right now. Or not YouTube, my internet is giving me all kinds of trouble right now. So, all right, well, it is what it is. So it's just, again, a lot of fun stuff to talk about that came out of that press conference. Again, George Kittle's having some fun with it. Again, he's saying, I'll call you on Sunday to let you know I'm alive, coach. And there it is, finally, after 4 years, we got it on the screen. Let's go. Shout out all my people making the great migration from Instagram to YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Instagram gang popping up. Let's go. So again, what did George say if you missed? So if you missed it, what George said is, I'll call you on Sunday to let you know that I'm alive, coach. I'll call you on Sunday to let you know that I'm alive, because of what Kyle Shanahan had said. And of course, it's caught fire and it's being shared all over the place. Let's go. We got a subscriber from IG. You love to hear it. You love to hear it. Appreciate you. Appreciate you big time. Really, really appreciate it. Yes, we give shouts out. We give shout outs to hometown kids. We see you, Alec. We see you. We see you. Yeah, I hope we're all alive for Thursday as well. I hope we are absolutely all alive for Thursday as well, because it is going to be a day on Thursday. It is going to be a day. You guys better come right here for live draft coverage from start to finish. You know where the vibe is. You know where you're going to get the best coverage. Look at all the homies subscribing. And while I shout out my IG gang real quick, IG gang coming in droves. We appreciate you guys. I'm going to try and get you guys up here. How often do I go live? I go live at this point multiple times a day to keep up with the 49ers and all this good stuff. So if you guys are on Instagram, again, head over to YouTube. We're keeping it popping. We're pulling stuff on the screen. I'm able to pull your comments up and do all that kind of stuff. But, oh my goodness, some good stuff today from that press conference. Again, takeaways. Still don't know who the 49ers are going to take at 3. Kyle Shanahan explicitly said that there's no point in really telling anyone to why. He's like, why would I tell anyone? we've talked about this before, and again, talking about how Kyle was mentioning all the stuff about the rookie being the starting quarterback. We have felt this whole time, we being I, have felt that Jimmy Garoppolo is probably on his way out, or the 49ers are trying to trade him. So that's the thing, is it just feels like everything is stacking up towards a potential movement of Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, we don't know. But again, it benefits the 49ers to be connected to Trey Lance. It benefits the 49ers to be connected to Mac Jones. It benefits these to have people thinking around the NFL that the 49ers want one of those guys. So then people are going to have to move up, and it creates a demand. It creates a buzz that someone has to go up and get. So also Kyle Shanahan had mentioned, if you're looking on the screen here on YouTube, you see the Five Guys. There's going to be a lot of Five Guys jokes now, because obviously if you're in 49ers Twitter, there's a huge debate every couple months between Five Guys and In-N-Out, which burger place is better. So of course, naturally, when Kyle kept talking about Five Guys and saying he loved Five Guys, of course, speaking about five quarterbacks, the Twitter's running with it. They're running with it. And again, we're memeing through this situation, whether it goes the way we want it or it goes the way we don't want it. That's just how we process our emotions in times like this. But again, it just feels like we could be seeing Jimmy Garoppolo moved here pretty soon. The timeline for me has always been the draft. It'll be really interesting to see if Jimmy is on the team come Sunday, which, the whole point of the question was that's after the draft, which is typically when all the movement and all that type of stuff happens, is during the draft, right? Or leading up until the draft. It's not rare, I would say, but it just doesn't typically happen where the draft falls. Everyone is done for the draft is done, and then they start making some moves. I mean, you see moves where situation like players will get cut or what have you. But it's not very typical that you see big trades happen after the draft. It typically happens during, because of course, everyone's in the same room already at that point. Everyone is already discussing the different angles and routes that they want to go. So it becomes a lot easier to make those deals during the actual draft itself. So I think that's, and I've said that this whole time, and people were like, "Why? We don't understand the Mac Jones hype. We don't understand why it's going from Trey Lance to Mac Jones to Justin Fields." And the whole time I've said there is a chip that the 49ers are holding in Jimmy Garoppolo that is a valuable asset. So the 49ers are in the business of creating supply and demand in regards to the quarterback. Right now, the 49ers have literally run the quarterback conversation for the last month leading up until the draft. So I imagine they are going to keep doing the same things. Keep saying it's Mac. Keep saying it's Trey. They want people to jump up. They want someone to, likely move up to 4 with the Falcons to take a quarterback or something along those lines. Because if the quarterback go in the top 10, all 5 quarterbacks go in the top 10, then there's a better opportunity to be able to move Jimmy Garoppolo for more assets. So we'll see. I'm going to look through some of the other stuff that I was tweeting out. We talked about Mike Mcglinchey's 5th-year option. That's super awesome that he was able to do that. We talked about the starting. I basically said Jimmy Garoppolo will not be the starting quarterback next season based on how Kyle Shanahan is discussing the rookie QB that they're going to be selecting on Thursday. He said it multiple times again. We are getting to a spot to get a starting quarterback when they're talking about getting to 3. He also talked about, not setting anything in stone with Jimmy Garoppolo. It just feels like how everything's going, Jimmy Garoppolo will be eventually moved. And that's pretty much it from, again, we talked about social media a little bit. He talked about how they cannot let that be any kind of factor in making a decision in regards to any of this. He did call us an intelligent fan base, though. So not that they were pandering or anything, but John Lynch did call us an intelligent fan base. So we'll see if they actually mean that or not. Some stats that came out, I guess the 49ers attended 167 games and practices during the past year with over 400 plus Zoom calls in preparation for the draft. That include they went to 128 pro days. I believe there's 132 college D1 teams. Clearly, they would go to other pro days of other sub divisions like FCS or D2, D3. But they're saying they have 160 draftable players. Sounds about right. I think they have to get through, probably over 500-600 prospects, might even be more than that, to be able to decide and get down to a list of draftable players. Because as you know, they will just take players and throw them off their board if there's a potential red flag with character and or medical, or they just don't like the player at all. But when it comes down to it, from my understanding, their list will comprise of around 160 people. So that being said, I do want to get some of your guys' thoughts. So if you guys want to ask questions, I'm going to start looking at the comments a little bit more here so we can get a better idea of what we're talking about in the chat. I want you guys' voices to be heard. And so let's do something really quick, though. So we're going to do this on Instagram. We're going to do this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever you're watching on. Drop in the comments right now of who you guys would like the 49ers to draft at number 3 overall. Who do you want? Do you want Mac Jones? Do you want Trey Lance? Or do you want Justin Fields? Do you want to see Wilson fall, potentially? Who knows? What if this whole time? Oh, here we go. Okay. We got a lot of Lance. Right off the bat, a lot of Lance. Lots of Fields. Oh, my goodness. You guys are dropping in like it's hot. Keep going. Ooh. This is going to be an interesting topic come draft days. Who is it going to be, like, from the fans' perspective? Because I don't think I've seen one Mac Jones. Oh, there's a Mac Jones. Of course, you're going to get the one Mac Jones guy. Dude, lots of Fields. Oh, we got a Kellen Mond. Perfect. No, we got a Mac Jones. There we go. Fields. Here's the Mac Jones. Let me check on Instagram. Still lots of Fields. Lots of Trey Lances, though. It seems like it's swung a little bit. Oh, we got a Wilson in there. Crystalline says Fields, so they can get the jersey. I want the jersey too. Well, we'll see. So we want this too. We want this too. We want to get that credential. We would love that. That would be fire. Trey Lance, Trigger Trey. Lots of trays. Fields great, baby. Justin Fields. Trey Lance. Fields are bust. So I'll talk about this. So Mikey on YouTube said that it feels like that they are preparing us for Mac Jones. Honestly, again, I didn't take away that from the press conference. And again, partially the reason behind why I didn't take that away is what Kyle was talking about towards the end, talking about what you're looking for in a quarterback, all those kinds of things. When he mentioned the Drew Brees, but can move like Lamar Jackson, to me, in my mind, my head went to, that sounds exactly like Justin Fields. That sounds exactly like Justin Fields. Because Justin, and I talk about this all the time, I believe there's a notion that kind of goes around that, Justin Fields is just this mobile quarterback. Justin Fields is a prototypical pocket passer. Again, Justin Fields is a prototypical pocket passer. But guess who he moves like? He moves like Lamar Jackson. And now, even in Trey Lance, for example, Trey Lance doesn't move like Lamar Jackson. Trey Lance moves like Derrick Henry if he was a running back. Dude, Trey Lance is a beast. Trey Lance will lower his shoulder and run guys over. I wouldn't exactly call Lance twitchy when you're assigning traits. He's fast. He can move. But when I'm talking about like lateral twitch and things like that, I wouldn't say Trey Lance is superb in that category. I would say Trey Lance is better running north-south. Like Trey Lance running north-south, watch out. Get out of his way. It's going to lower his shoulder. He's going to run you over. But in regards to the twitchiness of being lateral, going side to side, making guys miss, he has it in him, but it's not the same as what Justin Fields provides. Justin Fields looks like a running back when he has the ball in his hands. So that's the difference. But Justin Fields is a prototypical pocket passer. So you get Justin Fields, the prototypical pocket passer who can throw like Drew Brees. It's one of the most accurate quarterbacks we've seen enter the NFL in some time. Has the arm ability to throw to any spot, off any angle, to basically any location. So if we just want to pick apart that quote from Kyle Shanahan, that sounds like Justin Fields. That doesn't sound like Mac Jones. And again, it doesn't even sound like Trey Lance. Because if we're going to talk about what traits both of those players embody, that's one of the things that Lamar Jackson is great at, is being elusive and shiftiness. I wouldn't necessarily say Trey Lance is elusive. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, we're not buying any of the smoke. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan said that we're not going to divulge who we're picking until Thursday. It's not going to happen. He basically said why they weren't going to do that. So again, we keep hearing the same reports regurgitated over and over and over again. Just like if we wanted to talk about Ian Rappaport's, tweet from yesterday, where there's a belief that it's between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Again, nothing in his tweet was any different than anything we have ever heard up until this point. Starting from the first time we heard 95% Mac Jones at 3, right? We've heard it. And we heard 98% Mac Jones at 3. Oh, well, it's Trey Lance now and Mac Jones. Where's Justin Fields? Did he die? Why are we treating Justin Fields like Is it but that again, we got the information about the epilepsy. Maybe that is cause for concern. I don't know. But if Justin Fields is still going to go in the first round, then what's the difference? If he's going to go at 10, why can't he go at 3? What's the difference? What's the difference? So there's none. There's none. So I'm not buying a single thing that comes out of Schefter's account, Ian Rappaport's account, Mike Silver's account, any of these guys like that. I have so much respect for. So much respect for. All these guys, even like a Mayoko. I have so much respect for these guys. They're the best at what they do. They're the main source for a reason. But I am smart enough to understand. I have been through 10 drafts now, which means 10 off seasons, 10 smoke seasons. I've been here before. I've heard all this smoke before. Again, I talked about it when they said 95% it was Mac Jones. I was saying, well, they said that about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was the number 1 pick, according to everyone, according to the rap sheets and the Mayoks and all these guys. But guess who the number 1 pick is? It was Baker Mayfield. So again, I love these guys. I respect them. I respect them so much. But this isn't my first rodeo. This isn't my first smoke season. This isn't my first tinfoil hat season. So until it's done, it's not done. Until it's done. Like, that's the point. They can literally say, like Ian Rappaport can say, I believe from sources that the 49ers are taking Mac Jones at number 3. And because he said believe, I will say you're lying. I will say, I don't believe you until you use definitive language to say that that is the pick. You leave everything is open for discussion at that point, which is what we're doing, which is why we're talking about it, which is why I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, which is all that kind of stuff. It's just talk. It's rumors. It's smoke screens. It's look over here. We want to trade this guy. Look over here. We want to trade for that guy. Like, we've been here before. We've been here before. So, am I nervous? Yes. Am I concerned? Yes, I am. Because you have to look at Kyle Shanahan's history. You have to look at where he's coming from. And if if Kyle Shanahan goes from passing on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson to passing on Trey Lance and Justin Fields, I think it is pretty damn clear what will come of that. I think it's pretty damn clear. Like, I'm talking about people who idolize Shanahan, me being one of them, will instantly question his ability to evaluate talent until they prove with that selection that he can be the guy that we all are hoping for. But until then, it is going to be a wait and see. And do you want that pressure? Do you want that pressure? Do you believe in Mac Jones that much that he can overcome an entire fan base? Dude, the 49er fans, we're different. We're built different. Our voices carry differently, I believe, than other fan bases. I really think it does. A lot of the social media stuff and all of this kind of stuff, it happens on social media's turf, on 49ers social media turf. You remember that Antonio Brown situation when Antonio Brown took over the news cycle for 7 months, 8 months, just by liking pictures on social media, just because George Kittle said "Sup AB" in January. We've been on the ground-breaking front from a social media standpoint, watching the entire sports world change because of social media, because of players like Antonio Brown, because of players like the situation with the "Sup AB" tweet. We have been in the middle of it all. You can even go back to the Kaepernick situation. 49er fans are like ground zero for like all this type of stuff and how the narratives go and what we talk about and how we speak and how we talk about the sport. So I just hope that they understand. And I know they understand this. But it'd just be wild. It would just be so crazy to me. It would just be so crazy to me. Now, again, the field situation, if there's real concern about the medical, that makes sense to me. I can wrap my head around that. That's what scares me with Fields, is that if they truly believe medical is an issue, then those are one of those things where you're like, yeah, okay, if you want to pass on him because of the medical, that makes sense to me. But it just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't smell right. It just doesn't feel right. And I think 49ers fans have sensed this. Luckily, we have a lot of really good 49er fans who have used their platform, have used their experience in football, used their experience in evaluating to share their opinions and do all these kinds of things. So we can find information outside the normal sources. We can discuss and have conversations and throw things around and critically think. We can do all those kinds of things. So I think that's why we just have such a hard time with all these reports, all the smoke, because we smell it the second it comes out. Like, that's smoke. We're like, that's bait. That's a trap. Since the 49ers moved up to 3, everything that has come out is bait and or a trap. It's a bait or a trap. And we've said it every second of the way. And then, basically Kyle Shanahan comes out and says, you know what, you're right. We aren't telling anyone who we're picking at 3. We aren't. We're not doing that. Just like we've talked about this whole time, because they want to generate leverage. They want to generate supply and demand. That's what we're doing here. This is an exercise in economics and using social media to manipulate groupthink. That's what we're doing. So you either take it for what it is or you don't, and that's fine. But again, until the 49ers have turned in the card and they have selected Mac Jones, I just can't believe it. I just can't. Because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'll tell you that 100%, but I'm also not a dummy. And I also know how to evaluate football. I played football for many years. I've watched a lot of football. I've watched a lot of tape. I watched a lot of it from an evaluation standpoint. Like, I've lived it. I've studied it. I've done all of that. I'm not the best. I'm not the greatest. I'm not saying that, but I'm not a dummy. And you can't tell me Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Justin Fields, unless there are other situations that are involved, such as the medical. So we'll see. It's just, and again, we talk about Mac Jones quite a bit because of how he's been pushed in our face. But that doesn't mean Mac Jones is a bad quarterback either. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. Mac Jones is very good at maneuvering in the pocket. He's not mobile, but he knows how to move in the pocket. He knows how to navigate pressure. He knows how to do all that. Of course, he knows how to see the field. He knows how to throw with touch. He knows how to throw with anticipation. He knows how to read movement from defenders to be able to anticipate where the ball needs to be with the timing of his receivers. Mac Jones is not a bad quarterback. Mac Jones is deserving of being a first-round quarterback, but he's deserving of being the 5th first-round quarterback off the board because he doesn't lack the same. He doesn't have the same intangibles as the other quarterbacks in front of him, and that is the difference. That is the difference. So again, I'm going to watch the tape. I'm going to listen to other people who know more than I do about scouting, evaluating, and the football itself, and that's what you stick to. So in my brain, Justin Fields is the best quarterback of the 3, and until then, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If Trey's the quarterback, I like Trey. I like Trey a lot. Trey fits what we do better than Mac Jones, in my opinion. If we're going to talk about play action and doing all that kind of stuff, again, Mac Jones took 10 snaps from under center. 10 snaps from under center. That's one of the main things that I look at in determining pro-ready quarterbacks. Can you take a snap from under center? Trust me, it's a lot different and harder than you think. So, but 10? And he's the most pro-ready guy? He has the same amount of starts as Trey Lance, but he's the pro-ready guy. Got it. Okay. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, let's go. What time is it? It's 2:15. It is 2:15. I gotta work on some timing here. Where are we at? I'm currently efforting Quinn Miners to come on a live here to talk about the draft. So we're setting up timing. Let's see. I think that should work. 2:18. I think that should work. So we'll see. Sorry, I'm multitasking per usual. Okay, I like this question. I like this question on Instagram. He says, take bias out the way. Take all bias out the way. So that means I'm taking Kyle Shanahan bias out the way, because that's a lot of how I scout. Is I scout, who does Kyle like? And he's saying, who do you think you're taking at 3? So again, taking bias out, taking Kyle Shanahan's scheme out. I'm pretending I'm Kyle. I'm the head coach. I'm the GM. I can run any team I want. I can do whatever I want. No bias aside. Who am I taking at number 3? Well, that also depends on who's going first and second. But for the sake of the argument, we're going to go Lawrence 1, Wilson 2. And if you're saying take the bias out of it, it's the easiest decision I would ever make in my life to say Justin Fields. Again, but that was with the caveat of I don't have the medical information. So that's the big difference with Fields. I don't have the medical. That's something that the teams have to feel comfortable with moving forward with. Now, the fact that Alan Faneca, Hall of Fame offensive lineman, Tiki Barber, Pro Bowl running back, those guys both played and had really long careers in the NFL with epilepsy. But other than that, that's the only concern I really have. That's it. That's the first concern that has been brought to my attention where I'm like, oh, dang. That changes things a bit. Because, again, I don't have that access to the medical. I don't. So I don't know how they think about it. I don't know how they process it. I don't know how they determine risk reward. I don't know how they do that, so I can't speak from that regard. But if we're talking purely football between Fields, Trey, and Mac, it's going to be Fields for me. Fields has proven time and time again what he's capable of, being able to fight through the adversity, on top of having insane arm talent, being a prototypical pocket passer, having the ability to be able to do all those kinds of things. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. It's just crazy how we keep talking about Mac Jones, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So to my unbiased question, again, I was a Fields fan before I even thought he had an opportunity to be a 49er. I decided in November that Fields was the guy. That's when I decided Fields was the guy, in November. And all the information, everything that's been given to me, watching more tape, doing more things of that nature, I have not switched. The only thing that gives me pause is the epilepsy. That's scary because I as an evaluator, watching what I don't have all 22, like I don't have these resources. I'm not talking, to I've talked to some coaches about these quarterback prospects, but I'm not talking, directly to everyone. Like I don't know that info. So then that makes it very difficult. Fields is lazy, not NFL work ethic, another bust. Great insight. Great insight. Let's see, though. I know the epilepsy, yeah, I can't even talk. The epilepsy isn't a problem. He is a superhero. Why didn't they ask about the impact of pro days on making this decision? Because honestly, I don't think it has any impact. I really don't think. I think the only time like a pro day has a legitimate like impact is if you've never seen these guys before or they fail at the pro day. I honestly think that's really the only thing you can take away because, again, everything's scripted, everything's practiced, everything is repped out for them. They know exactly what they're doing and what they're executing. So, in my opinion, the biggest takeaways from pro days, in my opinion, is meeting the player, talking to the player, talking to everyone who's been around the player, talking to his family, talking to those types of people. I feel like that is the benefit of the pro day because, again, these pro or scouting personnel departments, they have all the resources at their disposal. They have everything. They have all the tape. They've been to the games in person to watch them play. So when it comes to the pro day, like I said, like we've talked about in the past, the 49ers moved up to 3 before Wilson even stepped foot, made his first pass in the actual pro day itself. So keep that in mind. I just don't think, like I said, it's more of a medical test. How do they run? You just want to get the testing and that kind of stuff. I really don't think pro days hold too much weight. Pro days hold a different level of weight based on this particular year being the COVID year and what have you and all that kind of stuff. I think it makes a little bit of a difference. But Other than that, I don't know. I don't know. Looks like my IG live is frozen, so that's fun. Pros of drafting Mac. Pros. Oh, I got Mac Jones people mad at me. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see here. What was it? So looks like my IG just completely crashed. Good. IG straight up just crashed on me. Cool. All kinds of fun technical stuff today. This is great. What was the question? Pros of drafting Mac. The pros of drafting Mac. So I'll try to look at it in a vacuum, because the problem with the conversation surrounding Mac Jones is you have other prospects on the board, such as Trey Lance and Justin Fields, who are both better prospects than Mac Jones. So I'll try and look at it in that regard of tunnel vision. Pros of drafting Mac. Pros of drafting Mac. I would have to imagine that some of the verbiage and some of the philosophies are actually going to be related pretty specifically to Kyle, because Sarkisian, who was the offensive coordinator at Alabama, came there from Atlanta, which I believe he took over for Kyle. So I would imagine that because Sarkisian was at Atlanta, he was able to take a lot of the plays and philosophies and things that Kyle had left behind, obviously, as he moved forward. So Sarkisian, I think, just brought that with him, because I've seen literally the same exact play run at Alabama, run by Kyle last year. So I think that when they do talk about it being like a scheme fit and it making sense, yeah, it does make sense. It does. And that's what I think scares me a little bit, especially based on Kyle's previous experience with quarterbacks. Like we don't have to go through his resume of quarterbacks that he has. We all know who they are. We all know what they look like, and they all look and smell like Mac Jones. But again, I don't think Kyle wants that. Like, I don't think he wants to live with that, because you hear how he talks about it whenever someone mentions, well, you like this kind of quarterback or you like that kind of quarterback. He gets real testy about it. And whenever you bring up Kirk Cousins, he gets testy. So this draft just seems like a perfect opportunity to go ahead and draft someone like a Justin Fields. But the pros of drafting Mac is he'll probably be able to come in. He understands some of the philosophies that the scheme already represents. The only problem is it's run out of shotgun versus play action, or which compared to under center, which is what Kyle does, because Kyle runs play action. So you're not getting that same type of transition, which I think is an underrated thing that no one talks about. Is like taking snaps under center is different. It's different. It changes things. Doing play action where you're turning your back to the defense, that changes things. Now, when you only take 10 snaps under center, how do you do that? How do you practice that? So, and some more pros, the pros of drafting Mac is that he will be able to throw on timing. the 49ers will still be able to open up their offense more, I believe, than um, let's go. Let's go, Greg. Um, so I think one of the things with Mac, or why it would be good, is because we would still be able to open up the offense. I still think Kyle would get away from more of the horizontal game that we were running with Ayuk and Debo and doing those kinds of things, like basically passes that were runs or extensions of the run game, and going more vertical. I still think Mac could offer that. I still think Mac has the ability to be a vertical passer. I talk about his movement ability in the pocket. He moves really damn well. I don't care about the gut and the ugly pictures and all that kind of stuff. He moves really, really well. Hold on a sec. I forgot to respond. Can we do 3 p.m. PCST? Sorry. Scheduling while talking. I guess that's, some of the pluses of. Oh, I like this one too. Let's go. Let's go. IG Live just completely crashed on me. Won't let me get back on live. I don't know what's going on here. But so what I was saying with Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He really is a good quarterback. But he's just, again, that's why I called him Mayo Mac. That's why I came up with the nickname Mayo Mac, is because he's just unexciting. There's with what the 49ers have seen with, the quarterbacks that we've had under Kyle Shanahan, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, all of those kinds of things, Mac Jones offers the same qualities. And I think the 49ers fans are ready for something different. Of course, we're the fans. We watch. We want to be entertained. We want that stuff. Kyle wants to win. Okay, it makes sense. But I just feel like with Jones, can he come in and run the offense efficiently? He can. Can he come in and make throws? He can. Can he come in and move within the pocket? He can. Can he be tough within the pocket and still deliver throws? He can. But is he going to make those wow plays? Is he going to make those plays when, the offensive line breaks down, when the offensive line misses an assignment or whatever, and he just has to create and do things outside of the design of the play? Will he be that's the thing that you have a hard time assessing with Mac Jones when you're comparing, when you have guys like Zach Wilson and Trey Lance available who offer something much, much more. Much, much more. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know why I'm having so many problems with my Wi-Fi. But that's the thing. Based on who the 49ers have had in the past, who Kyle has had in the past, I think we're all putting it out there that we don't want that. We don't want the same thing. We want something different. We saw you and I'll talk about this. I was a huge Deshaun Watson fan coming out of Clemson. Huge. Already preloaded as loving Clemson prospects. I love what Dabo Swinney does there. I love the program he runs. I love what he's able to do with the talent that he gets. I think he produces solid NFL talent. My love for that system started with DeAndre Hopkins and has just kind of progressed since then. Well, with Deshaun Watson being one of my favorite prospects ever, thinking that he is a demigod the second he steps in the league. And when I say demigod, I call quarterback prospects that because they elevate. They are more than just themselves. They elevate everyone around them. And so those guys get demigod status. Deshaun Watson was a demigod, in my opinion. I knew Kyle wasn't going to take Deshaun Watson at 3 or 2 or whatever it was. I just knew. The second they signed Brian Hoyer to be the backup or whatever, I knew they weren't taking Deshaun Watson. And I especially knew they weren't taking Mahomes, because when Mahomes came out of the air raid, it doesn't matter how talented Mahomes was. It was basically like Mahomes would have been coming from 3rd grade to med school, going from the air raid to Kyle Shanahan's system. So I knew that was off the table. And then, but with Deshaun to me felt like he would be able to do what Kyle wanted. But the second he signed Brian Hoyer, I was like, oh, not looking good for Deshaun Watson. So that's but I knew that in 2017. Now it's like, well, what are we talking? What's the real deal now? You've had time to learn. Again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If Kyle Shanahan takes Mac Jones, it's literally the definition of insanity. He's doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. So I think that's why the fan base has kind of taken on that same mentality of like, just, like, we've been here before. We've seen this type of prospect. And you have the opportunity to go in a different direction with a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance, who is a legitimate quarterback who can win from the pocket, but they also have those extra intangibles and those extra abilities. They have that. So it just makes it hard when you're like, you see these guys with great traits, but you're like pigeonholed into like one guy or like one mold of quarterback. So I don't know. It will be interesting to see what happens. Really, it really will. We'll have plenty of to talk about this week. Man, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But at least for right now, I feel better knowing that, or at least Kyle's saying that he's not going to tell anyone about it or mention like who they're not going to tip the pick, because they still have work to do. They still have business to take care of. They still have supply and demand to generate. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I don't want to get off, but I do need to schedule some other things and get some other things going here. So I'm essentially trying to effort Quinn Miners to hop on a live. We're just working through timing right now. I think we're going to be able to get on here around 3:30. We're just kind of finishing it up. So you could have the possibility of hopping back on a live with me and Quinn, just to talk about his draft process, him getting ready and doing all those kinds of things, because I'd love to hear his insight. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I want to kind of get off and focus on that. So we'll figure that out. Again, thank you to anyone from IG who made the transfer over. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Helps me out big time. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Again, we're going to be doing draft coverage here. We're going to be doing really strong draft coverage here live Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Make sure you tune in because it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot to talk about. There's going to be some great reactions. You're going to see tears. You're going to see everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, okay. All right. Well, maybe I can spend a couple minutes with you because Quinn just responded. All right. So we're going to have Quinn. I just threw a big old pump fake at you as I got like 40 people who left already. Quinn Miners will be on the show at 3:30. So in less than an hour, we'll be back. I'll be having Belly Boy Quinn Miners. Quinn Miners will be on. We'll be doing it at 3:30. I'll be doing it on YouTube. So make sure you watch out for that because it's going to be fun, dude. I've talked to Quinn before. If you guys aren't aware of Quinn Miners is the offensive lineman headed into the draft with the big belly, the big gut, that Quinn. So Quinn will be on with us at 3:30. If you guys haven't watched the live I did with him before, we're kind of resetting it because he told a lot of really good insight leading up into the Senior Bowl. Some really, really strong stories. On top of he's going to be featured in some legit NFL production here coming up. Basically highlighting offensive line. He's been working with Rashawn Slater and doing some big stuff. So I'm excited to talk to him about the draft. And again, just to get us more primed for the draft. We'll have the rest of the week to talk quarterbacks. But we're going to just, again, talk about the process leading up to the draft, do all that kind of stuff. I think it'll just be some fun insight into this whole crazy process that we like to rip apart and talk about quite a bit. But we'll get to hear it from this guy who's a D3 kid, didn't play in 2020, and is now potentially being talked about as a high second-round pick. So I'm excited about that one. We'll get Quinn in here at 3:30. We'll be back. I'll get that scheduled. Actually, I am just going to take a quick break here and get prepared for all that kind of stuff. Appreciate, again, as always, everyone who hops on and comments and does everything. You guys rock. And we're going to keep this thing rolling. So, again, be back 3:30. Quinn Miners, he's on. We're doing it. Let's get it. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully we'll see you back. We'll do it again soon.